We know how these games are being played. De-escalate, de-escalate, de-escalate. But my problem with narrative plotting is the fact that over the years, why injustice has continued in Nigeria is because when things happen, we plot a narrative, we de-escalate, but lessons were not learned. And that's why those things can happen again. We remember what happened in the 90s in this country. We remember how people plotted a narrative, made concessions. We returned to democracy. The same people that fought in the 90s have not still learned the same lessons they complain about. And now people have been hurt in our country. We have divided our country along the lines. Yes, I understand what Governor Soludo is saying. And by the way, there's still something happening in Governor Soludo State, the arrest of Chude. Somebody should talk to us as regards that.
Yes,
because he was arrested in Anambra. So because that talk has been going on for a while.
I saw that. Somebody actually tagged me this morning saying that he's still under detention.
Okay. It's easy for people like Governor Soludo to say, yes, we need to develop. And truly we need to develop. We need to heal. We need to forge ahead at a point. All right? But on what basis do we do it? That's the cardinal question people are not willing to answer. See, in 2007, we had something like this. Umar Musa Aradoa came out and said, I know the elections that brought me in were fraught with irregularities. And he showed the path to healing by setting up the Waste Commission that put a lot of proposals down for how elections can be run. You will see that that was a man that was willing. But in all of this, while we start to plot the narrative of the escalation, let's not forget that it was after this election, Mr. Bayo Onanuga tweeted what he tweeted. And he further seconded it by saying, I have no right to apologize for what I said. So because when people see that it backfires, they try to twist the narrative. But for all of us that are saying, all the people that are saying we should heal without introspecting and being circumspect on what happened. For all of those that are saying we should heal without due apologies for Nnamani that was punched in the face, and Ayo that was threatened at the polling units, and people that were caught with cutlass in the back. I'd like to ask them a question this morning, Audrey. And I would like to quote my favorite rock band, U2, because I'm a huge fan of Bono and U2. He asked a question in a song called Crumbs from the Table. He said, would you deny for others what you demand for yourself? That's the question I would like to ask them.
All right.
Would you deny for others what you demand for yourself? You demand justice for yourself, but are you trying to deny others justice and that right? He also further said in the song Crumbs from the Table, he said, you are breaking every heart, but you think every heart mends. So for people that break hearts in this country, they truly think every heart mends. Because it's so easy to use the word healing when the spoils of war is in your favor. Let us introspect deeply and ask ourselves, let's role play. If this was done to us, are we going to be told to snap out of this?
All right, Rufai. We'll take another story. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has challenged the former governor of Enugu State, Chimaroke Nnamani, who accused Obi of projecting ethnic and religious bigotry to show proof where he portrayed such an act. Nnamani made the allegations in a series of tweets shortly after his defeat at the senatorial poll. Nnamani accused Obi of using his devious opium served to Christians and to Igbos domiciled in different sections of Nigeria to set the political trajectory of the region 24 years back, and also alleged that Obi used the message of hate, bile, and incitement to subjugate the people of the Southeast. Peter Obi, in response, said that he is the direct opposite of the picture painted by Nnamani, and that he has always championed issue-based campaigns. Obi's statement reads in part, I find it very shocking that you had to label me as an ethnic and religious bigot, and as one who indulges in a campaign of hatred. In this instance, I like to state unequivocally that I am the direct opposite of what you said in your statement, and what my campaigns have been. I want to believe that my dear older brother must have mistaken me for someone else, because in this campaign, I have consistently championed issue-based campaigns and maintain so, even using illustrations and data to buttress my position to the extent that I have been accused of using data wrongly, and media houses had to create fact-check desks just to monitor and address issues I raised during campaigns. For that one, he got that right. Yeah. You know that was Peter Obi's rhetoric the whole time. Go and verify. Wow. But I mean, I think that it is quite irresponsible for Mr. Chimaroke Nnamani to have put out that tweet. I don't know if we can pull up those tweets that he sent after he lost his senatorial seat. Ayo.
All right, so that's his tweet. It's very easy for one to read the litany of tweets by Senator Chimaroke Nnamani as just rantings of a sore loser. It's easy to see it that way. Because, and I'm glad that Mr. Peter Obi responded to the series of tweets, because Senator Nnamani projects himself as a banner and a statesman and says that he's a leader, particularly from the Southeast. However, his statements or the things that he has said and his actions have not been statesmanly. When you make allegations or you say things that are heavy, like what he's accused Mr. Peter Obi of doing, it is important that you come with facts. And then, unfortunately, he came to, or he's speaking to someone who is a fact checker, so he verifies facts himself. One thing I have to say, for the records, is that one of the things that a number of observers praised Mr. Peter Obi's campaign for was his not using or attacking the person, but an issue-based campaign that he ran. People said, oh, you were going to places, you were going here and there, but we saw the opposition do even worse. And following that, I mean, Lagos State example is one. The Lagos State governor, after they had accused Mr. Peter Obi of going to churches, who then became a church greeter at the end of the day. These are examples that we see and we think, okay, you cannot accuse one man of doing something and then you go on and use the same strategy because it was not. But it's the people who are saying that it's not for people like you. Don't go home if you're not from this, if you're not going to, from this tribe, if you're not going to vote, are the real people that Senator Nnamani should be speaking to.
And you made that point, really, because I'll take some reaction. Let me take just one from Sandra, who wrote, there's only one candidate that said, Emi Lokan, Yoruba Lokan, and topped it off with a same faith ticket. That candidate ran on entitlement, ethnicity, and religion with his full chest. That person is not Peter Gregory Obi. Well, this whole conversation is coming as the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor Kalu, on Tuesday said that it is his turn to become president of the Senate in the 10th National Assembly. While speaking with journalists, Kalu said that he is the highest ranking senator from the Southeast and therefore deserves the position.
If we practice true democracy, I should not be in contest with anybody in this position. Because apart from the Senate President himself, Deputy Senate President Mogege, the Senate Leader Gobe, I'm the highest ranking member of the Senate. The Nigerian people will pray for me to be Senate President because it is my turn.
Oh, all right, Dr. Abati, really quickly on this story.
Okay, two quick things here. First, Mr. Peter Obi, he seems to have mastered the art of issuing rebuttals without being offensive.
I love it.
Because if you look at that his statement in which he responded to Senator Chimaroke Nnamani, a former senator representing Enugu East, who lost in the recent election, he must have used the word my brother, my elder brother, my dear brother, about 4 times.
I knew you were going to pick on that, yeah.
And after debunking all the allegations against him about being a religious and ethnic bigot, which he says he's not, and that he was preaching about character, competence, compassion, and that in any case, it wasn't only Igbos that voted for him, that non-Igbos voted for him everywhere, you know, where he took his message to. And he thought that Senator Chimaroke Nnamani may have mistaken him for someone else. You know, such very polite insults. And then at the end of the day, he said, well, Senator Chimaroke Nnamani says he needs some lessons in certain aspects of leadership and needs to go back to school. He ended his statement by saying, why do I have to go back to school? when I have my dear brother, Senator Nnamani, knows a lot about leadership, rather than go back to school, I'll come and learn at your feet. Of course, all of that is tongue-in-cheek, but he was able to make his point. However, I think in this matter, you, Assad, must prove. If you want to push Mr. Peter Obi further, you will tell him, well, sue Senator Chimaroke Nnamani for defamation. Because he has made claims about you that you say are not true. He even called Peter Obi, he referred to him as Gringori. I thought he was going to call him Gringori or Kafo.
Gregory.
But he said, no, he said Gringori. That's what he wrote, which is also like, a slur, almost dismissing him as a comedian, but what we can just appeal for is that, look, political leaders, people that people look up to, should just try to be very civil with one another. You see there, Peter Gringori,
playing with his middle name.
How he has set Igbo political trajectory 24 years back. Not many people will agree with that. If anything, with the obedient movement, he has further promoted, not just Igbo interest, the interest of those who want change in Nigeria, because he consistently said he's not seeking to be Igbo president. He wanted to be president of Nigeria. And to go to Senator Obi Att Cked,